you're already seeing credit tightening up. Because, the easiest way for a bank to retain capital is not to make the next loan. So I think you are going to see that. And I think everyone should be prepared for rates going higher from here. That if 5% is not enough in Fed funds, and I've been advising this to clients and banks, you should be prepared for 6, 7. You should be prepared for on the 10-year bond. And I also feel this way. The Fed doesn't control the 5 or 10-year rate. They control the overnight rate. So while they've been raising the overnight rate, there's still too much liquidity in the system, which is why stocks are high, bond spreads are still, you all talk about recession, not reflected in bond spreads. So I think there's a chance you can have rates ticking up, and not to 3.78. I'm talking about 4.25, 4.5, 5, 6, hell, maybe even 7. I would be prepared for higher rates if I were someone. Whether it happens or not, we don't know, but you should be prepared for it.
John, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has sent a new letter to congressional leadership, which she had promised to do, updating them as new data became available on the earliest potential date for a debt default in this country. That date, according to Secretary Yellen, is not changed. It is still as early as June 1st, according to this recent letter. And she says that she notes from prior debt ceiling impasses that the longer and more last minute these negotiations go, the more harm is done to consumers and businesses. This update comes just before President Biden is set to host House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this evening for an update on those talks after the president returned from the G7 summit in Japan. McCarthy earlier today sounded bullish on a deal, but I spoke to a White House official just a few moments ago who said here expectations are low.
And the consequence of failing to pay our bills would be that American people would have a real kick in their economic well-being. As a matter of fact, the rest of the world would too. And so we also agree we need to reduce the deficit. And I might add, in my first 2 years as president, I reduced it by $1.7 trillion. It matters. And so I'm all for continuing to reduce the deficit. And but we both talked about the need for bipartisan agreement. We have to be in a position where we can sell it to our constituencies. We're pretty well divided in the House, almost down the middle, and it's not any different in the Senate. So we got to get something that can sell to both sides. And we need to cut spending, but here's the disagreement. I think we should be looking at tax loopholes and making sure the wealthy pay their fair share. I think revenue matters, as well as as long as you're not taxing anybody under $400,000. And so we still have some disagreements, but I think we may be able to get where we have to go. We both know we have a significant responsibility. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the Speaker. Kevin, it's all yours.
I thank the President for spending time. We had a very productive conversation yesterday, even though he was coming back from the G7 meeting. We do have disagreements. I think we have a 50-year average. We're having more revenue at any time coming in. But I think we both agree that we need to change the trajectory, that our debt is too large. And I think at the end of the day, we could find common ground, make our economy stronger, take care of this debt, but more importantly, get this government moving again to curb inflation, make us less dependent upon China, and make our appropriation system work when we get done, right?
I'm all for making appropriations work. Now that I don't have to be there to do it.
Mr. Sound like a weird gold bug. I do think that this is unprecedented times at the central bank level. I think the Federal Reserve has never mismanaged as much as they have. I think you'll see the U.S. dollar not get back to its 2% inflation target. In 2022 was the largest year of central banks' allocation to gold. When people say the U.S. dollar is losing its reserve currency status, who's taking it? Is it the yuan? Is it the euro? No. If you look at the numbers, everyone's getting out of nation-state currency because of the level of mismanagement. And so I just generally hope that humanity has a lot of love and kindness towards each other, because what keeps me up at night is how this is going to play out. And so I'm putting my working hat on, and I'm going to try and be right in the heart of it and help out. But that's what keeps is the state of central banks and the U.S. dollar.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And now, guys, we see the truth coming out. We have Jamie Dimon says, yes, Real yield rates are about to rise, and we know the markets are about to get crushed. We had Alphabet, Microsoft, and Meta make a 52-week high today. While yield rates are smoking, dollar is getting stronger, and of course the mainstream media, the reason why these stocks at all-time high, because they're riding the AI wave. But guys, we know it's all the Fed. All the manipulation, all these stocks are being ran by an algorithm. You have the CEO, Jamie Dimon of Jpmorgan, telling you that rates are going high. All the markets should have tanked. But guys, we had Jamie Dimon talks about his exit plan. Last week, we had Morgan Stanley, CEO, talks about his exit plan. They know what's about to happen. This is the calm before the storm. Don't forget, Jamie Dimon told us a hurricane is right around the corner. And guys, we know this is a tornado. And guys, we know the NWO uses distractions in order to run the money in the back door. They have to keep the sheep asleep. And one of the distractions is the debt ceiling. Don't forget, Janet Yellen said we were broke January 19th. And she's been tapping those government retirement accounts ever since. And now that money has to go back as soon as they sign the debt ceiling. That's the reason why they planned the movie out. Because once the debt ceiling is signed, liquidity is going to shrink. And we know the NWO is not going to say, we're broke. And that's the reason why we keep hearing news about the drums are beating. And we know when the drums are beating, all of them have been planned out. And this one is being planned out for the fourth industrial revolution. So therefore, they're going to bring in this digital economy. Everything tokenized and put on blockchain. And you're going to have the rise of the machines, the robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. 70% of this economy is going to be ran by machines, and not a human will ever need to be involved. And remember, the banking crisis was planned out 10 years ago because this old banking model doesn't work. Bitcoin Lightning, XRP protocol, and XLM and others make money faster and cheaper. Remember, this old banking model is fee-based. No more overdrafts with real-time settlement. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Our Fed now, ACH, like what's the end goal here of strike? Everything goes right.
I don't think it just has to be so abrasive. I think I get a lot of flack, and the industry gets a lot of flack of being here to ruin the party for others. And I think we're here to make money better. I think everyone in the world would say that there's a problem with money right now. My groceries are too expensive. My banks are failing. I think everyone on planet Earth is having an issue with money, and we think we can help. We think Bitcoin can help. We think the Lightning Network can help, and that's all we're trying to do. If that ends up manifesting in a way that people use certain technologies instead of a Visa, or certain technologies instead of a SWIFT, or saving in something like Bitcoin instead of something like real estate or gold or U.S. Treasuries, then so be it. But I'm here to make payments better and money better, and I think that's what strike looks like, is hopefully 10 years from now, money's better because of the role we played.
On and off rails between fiat and Bitcoin.
I think people are blocking them because these same businesses are also serving what are potentially securities, also potentially fraudulent, and so it's all coupled in one. But for my business, we haven't had issues of customers getting us money. Customers want Bitcoin, customers want better payments. We've had no problems. And so a lot of the crypto downfall, we've actually seen growth in accruing of value. You know, I think when the Fed raises rates this fast and liquidity dries up in the world, this isn't specific to Bitcoin, value has to reconcentrate to where it's real. And I think you're starting to see, obviously, where that is. The Jack Dorseys, the Michael Saylors, like my business, we're not having issues. In fact, we're having a really interesting time changing the world. But folks I won't directly name seem to be like parading around DC begging for a particular outcome. And I don't have that problem. I don't know how else to say it. But I mean, I don't think banks are particularly concerned on giving retail investors access to an open public utility like corn or soybeans or aluminum. Bitcoin is owned by no one, operated by everyone. It's an open public utility. we've never had an issue telling a bank that we give retail customers access to open public utility. It's if someone were to sell something that's run and orchestrated out of a foundation or a private group, is when they have a lot of questions and have a lot of concerns on giving you access to their system.
How does this change now that you're launching in 65 different countries? What's possible now?
So we care a little bit less about the country specific and more about, my favorite line is we're launching to 3 billion new people, which is almost half of the global population, is what excites us the most. The biggest change should be obvious, is that 3 billion more people can open an account on our platform and access what we do. And so we make payments better. We give you access to Bitcoin. Our mission statement as a company is better money. And so being able to deliver better money to 3 billion more people is huge. And if you look at the map of our markets, it's actually predominantly the global south. It's effectively all Central America, Latin America, and throughout Africa. So we're pretty excited to take better money to a market that we think needs it. I was going to curse. We're pumped. We're pumped.
Going to a different economy. And we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box, provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know, I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York. From COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.